The massive survey ship called Stellar Voyager drifted silently through the outer reaches of an unexplored solar system. Its sleek hull gleamed under the distant light of an average yellow star. Inside the main control room, Captain Flynn stood with his forearms crossed, watching the large display screen with growing concern. "Run the scan again," he ordered, his blue scales shifting color slightly as he spoke. "These readings cannot be correct." Officer Trill tapped her slender fingers across the control panel. "Captain, I've already run it 3 times. The data is consistent." Her voice held a note of disbelief. "Planet 3 in this system registers as impossible." The crew fell silent as they stared at the holographic display, showing a blue-green world spinning slowly before them. Beautiful, but according to their sensors, deadly beyond comprehension. Atmospheric toxins, including free oxygen at levels that would cause cellular combustion in most species. Trill continued. Temperature swings of over 140 degrees between regions. Active tectonic plates causing frequent earthquakes. Massive storms with electrical discharges. Constant radiation from the star. She looked up at her captain with wide eyes. "Sir, by our classification system, this would rate as a Class 15 Deathworld at minimum." Captain Flynn shook his head in disbelief. The Federation scale only went to Class 12. Nothing living could evolve on a Class 15 world. "We should report this and move on," suggested Commander Dox, the security chief. Nothing could live in those conditions. Just then, the communications officer jerked upright in his seat. "Captain, I'm detecting artificial signals originating from the planet's surface. Thousands of them." The bridge erupted in chaos as the crew tried to make sense of this impossible information. Captain Flynn raised all 4 hands for silence. "Show me," he demanded. The display shifted to reveal a planet teeming with artificial structures. Cities sprawled across continents. Vehicles moved along organized pathways. Satellites orbited the deadly world. "Impossible," whispered Dox. "Nothing could evolve in such conditions." "And yet, something did," Captain Flynn replied quietly. "Science Officer Val, analysis." Officer Val, who had been studying the data silently, looked up with awe in her eyes. "Captain, whatever species calls this planet home must be incredibly resilient. They would need cellular structures resistant to radiation, oxygen toxicity, and extreme pressure changes. They would need immune systems capable of fighting constantly evolving pathogens. They would need to survive in conditions that would kill any known Federation species within minutes of exposure." "Are they a threat?" Dox asked bluntly. Captain Flynn considered the question carefully. Any species that evolved on such a world would have to be incredibly tough just to survive. Whether that translates to aggression is unknown. Just then, a new alert sounded. Officer Trill turned with shock evident on her face. "Captain, they've detected us. They're sending a directed message, in over 50 different formats." "They're trying to communicate," Val said, quite persistently. Captain Flynn felt the weight of history on his shoulders. His ship had just discovered not only the most hostile habitable planet ever recorded, but also a previously unknown intelligent species that somehow thrived in conditions that defied belief. "Send the standard first contact package," he ordered, "and alert Federation Command immediately. Tell them we've discovered a Class 15 Deathworld species." He paused, looking at the beautiful blue planet with new eyes. "And may the stars help us all if they're not friendly." General Tom Wilson stared at the massive view screen inside the Pentagon's Secure Command Center. The alien ship had been in Earth orbit for 3 days now, maintaining position over international waters in the Pacific. World leaders had agreed to a unified response, putting military differences aside in the face of first contact. "Still no aggressive moves?" Tom asked, his voice rough from too many late nights and too much coffee. "None, sir," replied Major Bell from her station. "They responded to our transmission 8 hours ago with what appears to be standard greeting protocols in mathematics and simple pictograms. The translation team is making progress." Tom rubbed his tired eyes. At 62, He had spent his career preparing for all kinds of threats, but alien contact had always seemed like science fiction. Now it was his reality. "What's your assessment, Doctor?" Tom turned to Dr. Reed, the head xenobiologist who had been analyzing what little data they had on the visitors. Dr. Reed looked up from her tablet. "Based on the ship design and the brief glimpses we've had of them through their viewports, they appear to be non-humanoid, possibly reptilian or insectoid. The ship maintains artificial gravity and atmospheric conditions significantly different from Earth's. Why are they just sitting up there watching us?" Tom wondered aloud. Dr. Reed adjusted her glasses. "If I had to guess, they're probably terrified." "Terrified? Of us?" Major Bell couldn't hide her surprise. "Consider it from their perspective," Dr. Reed explained. "They've discovered a planet that by their standards must be incredibly hostile, yet inhabited by an advanced civilization. They're likely trying to figure out what kind of creatures could possibly evolve in what they perceive as a death trap." The emergency phone line rang suddenly. Tom answered it, listened intently, then hung up with a grim expression. "They're coming down. One small shuttle, requesting permission to land at the neutral site we prepared in Australia. They'll be here in 2 hours." The preparation was a blur of activity. When the sleek silver shuttle finally descended through the clouds above the Australian outback landing zone, the world watched through carefully positioned cameras. No one knew quite what to expect. The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss, revealing a ramp. The first alien to emerge was encased in what appeared to be a protective suit with a clear helmet. Inside, they could see a being with blue-green scales, 4 arms, and large, multifaceted eyes. It moved carefully, as if the Earth's gravity was uncomfortable. Tom stepped forward as Earth's designated representative, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. "Welcome to Earth," he said simply, knowing the translation devices were working to convey his meaning. The alien raised 2 of its 4 arms in what appeared to be a greeting gesture. When it spoke, its voice came through the translation system with an oddly musical quality. "I am Captain Flynn of the Galactic Federation Survey Ship * Stellar Voyager *. We come in peace and curiosity." Tom nodded. "We are pleased to welcome you peacefully. May I ask why your people seem to require protective suits on our world?" Captain Flynn's large eyes blinked rapidly. "Your atmosphere contains oxygen levels toxic to most space-faring species. Your gravity is crushing. Your solar radiation would harm our cellular structure. Your world is classified as extremely dangerous." Tom couldn't help but smile slightly. Yet here we are, born and raised in these conditions. The alien captain made a gesture that the translation device interpreted as expressing amazement. "That is precisely why we wish to meet you. Any species that could evolve on a Class 15 Deathworld and develop space technology must be extraordinary. The Federation has never encountered anything like humans before." Tom felt a strange pride wash over him. Humanity had always seen Earth as a nurturing home, not a deadly challenge. Now he wondered what this new perspective might mean for humanity's future among the stars. The meeting room inside the newly constructed First Contact Center buzzed with activity. One half of the large circular chamber maintained Earth's normal atmosphere, while the other side had been carefully adjusted to match the alien visitors' needs. A transparent barrier separated the 2 environments, with advanced communication systems allowing conversation between the species. Jack Miller, head of the human science team, watched with fascination as Captain Flynn and 3 other Federation representatives arranged their data tablets on their side of the barrier. After 2 weeks of preliminary talks, today marked the first official cultural exchange session. "I still can't believe they think our coffee is a dangerous chemical weapon," whispered Dr. Anna, the team's biologist, as she arranged her notes. Jack smiled. "Well, to be fair, their biology would probably treat caffeine as a deadly neurotoxin." Captain Flynn's translator activated. "We are ready to begin the formal exchange of biological and cultural information, if your team is prepared." Jack nodded. "We're ready and eager to learn about the Federation." The alien scientist named Ziv stepped forward. Unlike Captain Flynn, who had blue-green scales, Ziv's skin was a pale yellow with faint purple markings. Jack had learned that the Federation included over 300 different species, each evolved on worlds far more hospitable than Earth. "We wish to understand how humans have adapted to such extreme conditions," Ziv began. "Our preliminary scans show that you possess remarkable cellular repair mechanisms and immune responses unlike anything in our database." Jack gestured to Dr. Anna, who activated the large display screen showing human DNA structure. "We evolved these traits over millions of years. Our bodies constantly repair radiation damage, fight pathogens, and detoxify harmful substances. To us, these are normal survival mechanisms." Ziv's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. On most Federation worlds, such mechanisms would be unnecessary. The energy your bodies devote to these functions could be used for other purposes, such as extended lifespans or enhanced cognitive abilities. Dr. Anna leaned forward. "Are you suggesting that in less hostile environments, humans might live longer?" "Potentially," Ziv replied. "Though your species might actually find our worlds too unchallenging. Your bodies are adapted to constant stress and threat. Our medical experts theorize that humans might develop health problems in environments that don't regularly challenge your immune and repair systems." The human team exchanged surprised glances. The idea that humanity's home was a crucible that had forged them into unusually tough beings was still hard to fully accept. Captain Flynn joined the conversation. "What most fascinates us is not just your physical adaptations, but your psychological ones. Species from harsh worlds typically develop extremely aggressive or isolationist tendencies, yet humans display remarkable cooperation alongside your competitive instincts." Jack considered this. "We've had our share of wars and conflicts. But yes, cooperation has been key to our survival. Your art and culture reflect this duality," noted another alien representative named Krell, who specialized in cultural studies. "You create beautiful music while also preparing for battle. You write stories about both love and war. You seek peace while maintaining weapons. Most species trend strongly toward one behavioral extreme or the other. What does this mean for Earth's potential relationship with the Federation?" Jack asked. Captain Flynn made a gesture that the translator interpreted as thoughtful consideration. "The Federation Council is still debating. Some members fear that humans may be too unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Others believe your unique evolution makes you valuable potential allies." "Dangerous?" Dr. Anna couldn't hide her surprise. "We're the ones who should be concerned. Your technology is clearly far more advanced than ours." Captain Flynn's scales shifted color slightly. "Technology can be shared or acquired, but the ability to survive conditions that would kill most sentient beings, to thrive on a world that would be classified as unsurvivable, that makes humanity unique and potentially the most formidable species we have ever encountered." Jack felt a strange mix of pride and concern. Humanity had always seen itself as vulnerable in the vastness of space. The idea that advanced alien civilizations might actually fear them was both empowering and sobering. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Federation hummed with tense energy. Representatives from 287 worlds sat in tiered seating arranged in a perfect circle. In the center, a holographic display showed Earth rotating slowly, blue and green and beautiful, and terrifying to most beings present. High Counselor Vex, the aged leader of the Federation's governing body, raised his crystalline staff for silence. His species communicated through color patterns that rippled across their translucent bodies, but he spoke aloud for the benefit of all representatives. "We continue our discussion regarding humanity and their homeworld. Designation Sol 3, he announced. "The Classification Committee has confirmed their preliminary assessment. Earth is officially designated a Class 15 Deathworld, the first such world ever confirmed to support intelligent life." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Ambassador Krell from the peaceful water world of Aquarius rose to speak. "How can we possibly consider allowing these humans into the Federation?" Krell's fins quivered with emotion. They evolved on a world that would kill any of us within minutes. Their bodies contain metals we consider toxic. They'd breathe oxygen at concentrations that would cause most of our lungs to combust. Several representatives nodded in agreement, their various appendages signaling support. Ambassador Dorn from the planet Rigel VI stood next, with his rocky, heat-resistant hide. His species was among the toughest in the Federation, yet even they found Earth challenging. I have personally visited the human world, Dorn rumbled. While I required a pressure suit and atmospheric filters, I observed these humans closely. Yes, they are physically resilient beyond our understanding, but they have also created art, music, and literature of remarkable depth. They are not simply the mindless predators one might expect from such a harsh evolutionary background. The chamber erupted in debate. Some representatives described humans as potential monsters, while others argued for the benefits of including such a hardy species in Federation defense forces. In a special observation pod, 3 humans watched with a mixture of fascination and discomfort. Ambassador Tim, Dr. Anna, and General Mike have been invited to observe but not participate in this crucial debate that would determine humanity's future relationship with galactic civilization. "They're acting like we're some kind of space orcs," whispered Mike, frowning at a particularly passionate speech describing humans as walking biohazards. "Can you blame them?" Anna replied softly. "We evolved to survive conditions they consider apocalyptic. Their biology is adapted to stable, safe environments. We're literally built to endure disaster." On the council floor, the debate grew heated. Representative Zorn, a silicon-based life form, projected images of human wars and conflicts. "These creatures fight constantly. They developed nuclear weapons before achieving reliable space travel. They poison their own environment. And now we consider admitting them to our peaceful coalition." Ambassador Flynn, who had led the first contact mission, countered with his own evidence. "Humans also display remarkable capacity for cooperation and compassion," he argued, showing images of disaster relief efforts and medical teams. "Their tendency to adapt quickly and survive against overwhelming odds could be precisely what the Federation needs when facing unknown threats." High Counselor Vex allowed the debate to continue for the standard time before raising his staff again. "We have heard compelling arguments for both caution and inclusion," he said, "but we must also consider the practical reality. Humans have already developed primitive faster-than-light travel concepts. Within a century, they will expand beyond their system with or without our guidance. The question is not whether to engage with humanity, but how to engage with them." In the observation pod, Tim leaned forward. This was the crux of the matter. "The committee proposes a probationary period," Vex continued. "Human representatives will be welcomed at designated Federation facilities. Cultural and scientific exchanges will proceed under controlled conditions. A full security assessment will be conducted before any final decision on membership." The vote that followed was closely divided, but the proposal passed. As the session ended, Tim turned to his colleagues. "So we're considered too dangerous for full membership, but too dangerous to ignore," he said with a wry smile. "I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult." "Neither," Anna replied. "It's simply the truth. To them, we're strange creatures who call a nightmare world home. We need to understand that perspective if we're going to build any meaningful relationship with the galaxy." The warning sirens blared through the newly established Federation embassy on Earth. Red emergency lights cast an eerie glow across the walls as both human and alien staff rushed to their stations. Inside the central command room, Ambassador Tim gripped the edge of the holographic display table, staring at the incoming data with growing alarm. "How many ships?" he asked, his voice tight with tension. Officer Lana, the human military liaison, studied her screen. 7 warships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of our solar system. They're not responding to Federation identification protocols. Across the table, Federation Ambassador Flynn's scales had darkened to a deep blue, a sign of extreme stress in his species. "They are Krell raiders," he said grimly. pirates who operate outside Federation law. They target developing worlds, especially those not yet under full protection. They're heading straight for Earth, Lana confirmed. Estimated arrival time: 3 hours. Tim looked at Flynn. Why attack now? Why Earth? Information about your world has spread quickly through galactic channels, Flynn explained. Many find it hard to believe that intelligent life evolved on a Class 15 Deathworld. The Krell likely see humans as either a valuable resource to capture or a potential threat to eliminate before you fully join the galactic community. General Mike entered the room, followed by his Federation counterpart, Commander Dorn. Both wore the grim expressions of warriors preparing for battle. Earth's defense forces are mobilizing, Mike announced. But we need to know what we're up against. How advanced are these Krell weapons compared to ours? Commander Dorn's rocky features looked even more severe under the red emergency lights. Their technology is approximately 200 of your years ahead of Earth's current capabilities. Their ships have energy shields that can withstand most of your conventional weapons. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Federation fleet has been alerted, Flynn added, but the nearest battle group is 3 days away at maximum speed. Tim straightened his shoulders. Then Earth stands alone. Not entirely, Flynn said. Our embassy vessel has defensive capabilities, and we can provide tactical data on Krell weaknesses. What followed was a frantic planning session. Federation technical experts shared what they knew about Krell ships, while human military strategists developed a desperate defense plan. As the alien raiders drew closer, Earth's military leaders watched with growing alarm as their most powerful missiles were easily deflected by Krell shields during the first engagement at the edge of the solar system. But then something unexpected happened. They're breaking formation, Lana reported, surprise evident in her voice. 3 ships pursuing our retreating forces, but 4 are hanging back. Commander Dorn studied the tactical display with confusion. This is not standard Krell attack procedure. They typically maintain tight formation for maximum firepower. The answer came moments later when the communications officer shouted, multiple impacts on the lead Krell vessel. Our submarine-launched missiles penetrated their shields. The Federation officers stared in shock as the tactical display showed the damaged Krell ship listing to one side, venting atmosphere. Impossible, whispered Dorn. How did primitive Earth weapons bypass advanced shields? General Mike allowed himself a small smile. We noticed your report mentioned that Krell shields are calibrated to stop high-energy weapons and objects moving at high velocity, standard space combat tactics. But our submarine commanders fired specially modified missiles that decelerated just before impact, essentially drifting through the shield boundary below the detection threshold before reactivating. Ambassador Flynn's scales shifted to a pattern indicating astonishment. You developed this counter-strategy in less than 3 hours. Humans are good at improvising, Tim said simply. It's how we survive on a death world. As they watched, Earth's combined forces executed the hastily developed battle plan. What the humans lacked in technology, they'd made up for in unexpected tactics and sheer determination. The Krell raiders, expecting an easy victory over a primitive world, found themselves facing warriors born on the most dangerous planet known to the galaxy. By the time it was over, 3 Krell ships had been destroyed and the rest retreated. Earth had suffered losses, but had proven something crucial. Humanity would not be easy prey, no matter how advanced their enemies. The aftermath of the Krell attack transformed the relationship between Earth and the Galactic Federation. What had been cautious cultural exchanges became urgent technology transfers and defensive preparations. The Federation embassy in Geneva tripled in size within months, while human representatives established their first permanent presence at Federation headquarters. John walked slowly through the curved hallways of the massive Federation station orbiting Jupiter. As Earth's newly appointed diplomatic officer, he still found himself amazed by the sheer diversity of alien life forms rushing past him. Most gave him a wide berth, their body language betraying a mixture of respect and unease. They still find us intimidating, noted his guide. Officer Rex, one of the few humans already stationed here. The news of how we repelled the Krell has spread throughout the Federation. We're developing quite the reputation. John nodded. I'm not sure if being known as the scary Deathworlders is entirely helpful for diplomacy. They arrived at a large chamber marked with universal symbols indicating a medical facility. Inside, John was surprised to find a group of Federation medical officers gathered around a display screen showing human biological data. "Ah, just in time," said Dr. Lin, the human physician heading the Joint Medical Research Team. "We're about to demonstrate something that has our Federation colleagues quite excited." John approached curiously. In the center of the room stood a human Marine named Corporal Frank, looking somewhat uncomfortable under the alien gazes. "Corporal Frank has volunteered to demonstrate human rapid healing," Dr. Lin explained. "With his permission, we documented the process of wound recovery in real time." The screen showed microscopic footage of human cells rapidly dividing and repairing damaged tissue. "By Federation standards, this healing rate is nearly impossible," explained a tall, slender alien doctor. "What takes your species days would require most Federation citizens weeks or months to recover from." Corporal Frank shrugged. "Just doing my part for science, sir." "But it goes beyond just physical resilience," Dr. Lin continued, changing the display to show brain scans. "Human psychological adaptability is equally remarkable. The speed with which humans process and adapt to new situations, especially threatening ones, exceeds known parameters for sentient species." John noticed an elderly Federation official watching from the corner. The being's silvery skin and elaborate uniform marked them as someone of importance. "High Counselor Vex," Rex whispered, the head of the Federation Council. "I didn't know he was visiting the station." Vex approached slowly, his movements careful in the Earth-normal gravity of this section. "I wish to observe humanity's potential contributions firsthand," Vex said, his translator converting his natural light pulses into speech. "The Krell incident was enlightening." John bowed slightly. "We're grateful for the Federation's increased support since the attack." "Self-interest, I assure you," Vex replied with what might have been dry humor. "The Federation has maintained peace for over 2,000 years through diplomatic means. When conflict arises, we have always relied on technology rather than biological advantages." "And now?" John asked. "Now we face increasing threats from beyond our borders. Species who do not respect our diplomatic traditions." Vex gestured to Corporal Frank. "Humanity represents something unexpected. A species with both the physical capabilities to survive extreme conditions and the intelligence to create advanced civilization." Another Federation official approached with urgent news. "High Counselor, we've received reports that 3 more worlds along the Outer Rim have received Krell demands for tribute." Vex turned to John. "This brings me to the purpose of my visit. The Federation Council has approved an unprecedented proposal. We wish to create a joint defense force with humans serving as our frontline responders and trainers." John tried to mask his surprise. "You want humans to fight for the Federation?" "With the Federation," Vex corrected. "Your species evolved in conditions that created natural warriors. Your bodies can withstand environments that would kill most Federation peacekeepers. Your tactical thinking is unpredictable. We have a saying on Earth," John said. "Be careful what you wish for." Vex's skin pulsed with patterns that the translator interpreted as acknowledgement. Indeed, many council members fear that introducing humans more broadly into Federation society may change us in unexpected ways. But the alternative, allowing aggressive forces like the Krell to prey upon peaceful worlds, is unacceptable. John looked around the medical lab, at the aliens studying human biology, with a mixture of fear and fascination, and realized that humanity's role in the galaxy would be far different than anyone had imagined. The massive Federation Council chamber fell silent as High Counselor Vex raised his crystalline staff. 5 years had passed since first contact between humanity and the Galactic Federation. Today would mark a historic turning point in that relationship. "Representatives of the 300 worlds of the Federation," Vex began, his voice carrying through the vast space. Today we formalize a new classification in our understanding of habitable worlds and the beings who evolve upon them. The holographic display in the center of the chamber showed Earth, rotating slowly. Next to it appeared images of humans working alongside various alien species across different environments. For millennia, the Federation classified planets based on their hospitality to life as we understood it. Class 1 worlds were paradise: perfect temperature, stable weather, minimal radiation, abundant resources. Vex gestured to several delegates from such worlds. Most founding members of the Federation evolved on worlds rated Class 1 through 4. Captain Jim stood at attention beside Ambassador Kate, both wearing the new Earth Federation Joint Service uniform. As Earth's military liaison, Jim had spent the last 3 years helping establish the Joint Defense Initiative. Kate had worked tirelessly to integrate Earth into the galactic community while preserving human independence. The discovery of Earth, a Class 15 world by our standards, and the intelligent life that evolved there has forced us to reconsider fundamental assumptions. Vex continued. Today, we officially recognize a new planetary classification: Crucible worlds. The display changed to show harsh environments across the galaxy. A crucible world is one where extreme conditions forge life into forms of exceptional resilience, explained Federation Science Director Mira, her tentacles gesturing elegantly. Such worlds are rare, and Earth remains the only known crucible world to produce a spacefaring civilization. Jim leaned slightly toward Kate. "They're finally admitting we're special," he whispered with a small smile. "They're admitting we're useful," Kate whispered back. "Not quite the same thing." The council chamber shifted focus as Vex introduced the results of the 5-year probationary period. Holographic displays showed human Federation joint accomplishments: the defeat of 3 major Krell incursions, the establishment of colonies on worlds previously considered too hostile for settlement, medical breakthroughs applying human resilience factors to other species. The human ability to survive conditions fatal to most Federation species has proven invaluable, Vex acknowledged. Equally important has been their adaptability, their capacity to find solutions where our more specialized species see only insurmountable obstacles. Kate felt a surge of pride. Earth's relationship with the Federation had not been without challenges. Many Federation species still found humans intimidating. Some human factions resisted sharing technology, but the partnership had benefited both sides in ways no one had predicted. "We now face the formal vote," Vex announced. "Shall Earth be granted full membership in the Galactic Federation, with all associated rights and responsibilities?" The voting process was swift. When the results appeared above the central platform, Jim couldn't hide his surprise. 92% in favor, he murmured. "I expected more opposition." "Fear and respect are powerful motivators," Kate replied. "After what happened in the Proxima conflict, most worlds would rather have us as allies than potential enemies." The ceremony that followed was brief by Federation standards. Kate accepted the formal membership credentials while representatives from Earth's united governments watched via subspace transmission. What had once seemed impossible, humans standing as equals among the stars, had become reality. As the ceremony concluded, Jim and Kate walked toward the observation deck, overlooking the spectacular nebula surrounding Federation headquarters. Federation representatives from various worlds stopped them to offer congratulations. "I never thought I'd see this day," Jim said, gazing out at the stars. "When I was a kid dreaming about aliens, I always imagined them being more advanced than us in every way." "They are, in many ways," Kate reminded him. "Their technology, their peaceful cooperation, their cultural development. We have much to learn." "And they from us," added Vex, who had approached silently. The Federation grew complacent in its safety. Humanity reminds us that true strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from overcoming them. Kate smiled. "On Earth, we have a saying: smooth seas do not make skilled sailors." "Precisely," Vex agreed. "While we built our civilization avoiding storms, humanity learned to sail through them. Together, Perhaps we can navigate whatever lies ahead." As they looked out at the endless stars, Earth's dangerous reputation had transformed from liability to asset. The Deathworlders had found their place in the galaxy, not as conquerors or curiosities, but as partners bringing unique strength to a civilization that had forgotten what it meant to struggle and survive.